Welcome to the 100th Monkey Radio with Tom and LFE. We are making this video to let you guys know of some changes that we're making at the beginning of this year. We're kind of getting rid of our subscription system and, going to kind of an honor system as far as that energetic exchange that we need to happen with the show. I mean, the show's been paying for itself for the last 7 years, and through the subscription system. But I want to get this material out to more people. Yeah. I want more people to have access to that second hour, and not feel obligated to subscribe for a monthly subscription or whatever. I think it's a necessary part of this evolution that we're going through, that there's an energetic exchange of some kind.
Yeah.
And frankly, we need something to be able to keep the show going. I mean, it does cost some money. Yeah. I mean, it costs, several $1,000s to keep what we're doing going every year.
Yeah, not counting the time that we put in.
Yeah, not timing the time and effort and energy that we spend on a weekly basis bringing this stuff to you guys. So, there has to be some kind of energetic exchange. And we decided we're going to put it on this format because, number one, we want more people to have access to the second hour content. And, number two, I've got faith in my fellow man. Yeah. I know that our listeners out there are going to step up to the plate and cover our bases for us.
Yeah.
I mean, just take a look at our archives and all the different people that we've had through the last 7 years. I mean, we've had there's some amazing shows there. So if there's going to be a donate or a subscription tab that's with every one of these shows, and we expect everybody to do one of two things. They're either going to help us out financially, or they're going to pay it forward in some form or fashion. Yeah. And whether it's passing this stuff off to somebody else, or doing some, helping a lady across the street, whatever it happens to be. So the tabs, the subscription format's still going to be available if you want to make like a monthly donation. If you want to make something that's recurring, that's awesome. That helps us out tremendously. Or if you want to just make a one-time donation, that's always available too. Yeah.
And it's up to you how much you want to donate. I mean, if you could afford $1, $1 helps.
Exactly.
If 1,000 people donate $1, I mean, that'll get us a long ways. And not only in the show, but in the whole background of doing the show. With our computer work and the editing and the software and hardware we need. And the upgrades to the technology we need.
Right.
to help the show along. $1's not. Not too much, but I mean, even if it's not $1, just like Tom was saying, pay it forward. Give it to somebody else. Spread the information you learn, or share the shows on Facebook or something like that. Let's get this information out there, and especially with the second hour, like we really get into a lot of meat and potatoes with the second hour. I mean, the first hour is kind of our warm up hour, and the second hour is where we really get into it. So we really want that second hour to be out there for everybody to listen to and to absorb that information.
Yeah, we've got WordPress on the website, so what I think initially what we're going to do is we're going to stick up a comment section on the main page, a WordPress comment section, or at least a link to the WordPress comment section where people can go and drop their comments or suggestions or whatever. If you want somebody specific, us to get somebody specific on the show. Yeah. It's great for us to hear that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or any comments or suggestions,
Yeah. Or if you check the website and you see an upcoming guest that we're going to have, feel free to email us specific questions you have for that guest. And we'll try to work them into the first or second hour. Or if you have ideas for guests that we should have on the show, email us that too.
Good stuff. We're going to also be adding in the info tab underneath this second hour that you're about to listen to. There's also a link there, direct email to the info@the100thmonkeyradio.com if you want to just drop us an email. So, all right, guys. Well, I want to thank everybody for all the years of support that they've given us, and To our current subscribers, you know, the choice is yours on whether or not you leave your subscription as is and continue the recurring stuff, or whether you drop that. I mean, this is, you know, it's all up to you guys. So we thank you for your continued support, and man, on with the show, right?
Yeah, on with the show.
All right. Namaste, my friend. Welcome back to the 100th Monkey Radio with Tom and LFE. We have Elizabeth Joyce with us. And Elizabeth, oh, and thank you so much, everybody out there, for listening and supporting the 100th Monkey Radio. We love you guys. And, man, much gratitude for all of you guys that have been following us, especially some of you old-timers that have been with us since the beginning. Man, we love you guys so much. It's just much gratitude. Anyways, so Elizabeth.
Yes.
Elfie and I were talking during the break, and the thought came into my mind about my own personal first Kundalini experience. And I was curious, how long ago and when did you have your first Kundalini experience, and what was it like?
I probably had it when I cried and took my first breath.
Ooh.
But beyond that, I was in Vermont. I got into a relationship. My field was aviation. I worked at Teterboro Airport for a long time. And then I got into a relationship, and I went up to Vermont. I closed the house and moved up hook, line, and sinker. And my mother lived in New Hampshire. She was from New Hampshire, and she was ill, so I also had to take care of her. There was a store in Wilmington, Vermont called the Clara Simpla, and it was a very simple herb shop where they had books and they taught classes. They taught, you know, they taught yoga, and they had acupuncture and all the things that were not mainstream. And I was teaching my classes there and also doing healing work. And I passed one of the doors when I was leaving one day, and I heard something like this: Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And I stopped dead in my tracks. Had never heard anything like that in my life. I looked through the crack in the door, and there were 30 people sitting in a circle singing Om Namah Shivaya. And I felt a love that I had only dreamt about. And I said, I want that. Whatever it is, I've got to learn about it, and I want that. So, of course, I found out about it, and I went to my first meditation. It's going to blow you away. And I sat down with the group. It was about 2 weeks later. And my son at that time was at Lehigh University, and he was studying to become a doctor. I knew he was going to be a doctor because I had been told that during the pregnancy. And I was very concerned about making ends meet because I had left the airport. I didn't know what I was going to do. And the relationship was going badly. It was not going well. So I started singing Om Namah Shivaya, and all of a sudden I felt like somebody took a fist and hit me in the third eye. And I went back in a swoon. And I saw this white cloud in front of me. It was a very dense, foggy cloud. And all of a sudden it opened, and there was the Lord standing there. And he looked at me. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And telepathically, he said to me, don't worry about Lehigh University. All financial responsibility will be lifted off your shoulders. And he went. He was gone. And I was disoriented for days. But it all happened just as he said. It was powerful. And I've had many, many more experiences since then. Many more.
Wow.
That was my first one.
So did all that just happen in an instant, or was that over
I don't know. We were in the room for about 2 hours, so it was during that time.
Oh wow.
There is no time in such space, as you know, Tom. There's no time. I could never tell you whether it was 2 seconds, 2 minutes, or 2 hours.
So
But
how do your
beautiful.
visions when you do psychic work for somebody, or you try to tap in and see something, or pick up on something, What sensations do you experience? How do you?
Well, I'm very different from a lot of people. I do things differently, of course, Sagittarian rising and all. I am able to plug into their energy and to take their energy in their aura and run it through me and give it back out to them. And sometimes it is a hoot. Because I can feel this anger coming. I feel like I want to smack him across the face. Don't you listen? Why aren't you listening? You shouldn't have done that. You know better. You know, that type of thing.
Right.
And I guess I'm a disciplinarian because I grew up before we had something called the New Age. So I work that way. I'm able to take their energy and pull it through my body. And this is how I can talk to the other side. This is how I can give them predictions. This is how I can see where they are and help them make choices about where they're going to go. Also, I start with the astrological chart. So as I'm working and opening their chart and creating their chart, I have a little bit of a hit on who they are and what their character is before they come in the door.
Right.
And that's important too.
Oh, that helps you to know what channels to look into.
Right.
Yeah.
But the energy of the person always tells me, and then I am directed. Very, very directed. I have excellent guides.
Yeah.
Fired a few of them, but I have good ones now. You know, you can fire your guides when you don't like where your life is going. Because what happens...
I've never heard that before.
Oh, you can. You get trapped in this syrupy sugar of guilt and shame, and if you're tired of it and you don't want to play the game anymore, just tell those guys to get lost and to bring you somebody on a higher level. And it will happen. If you request it, it will happen.
How's it go? Your wish is my command.
Ask and you shall receive.
Asking, that's what I wanted. Yeah.
And it is true.
The way you described pulling their energy through you, you know,
Yes.
I suppose that's how all of us work in, you know, to whatever limited fashions that we have, you know, or whatever level that we are as in opening ourselves up.
Well, Tom, guess what you pull them through? You pull them through the chakras. I just thought I'd say that. You pull them through the chakras and you create that circle. Remember the circle of light I told you about from the 10th chakra to the 4th chakra and making a circle? With a client, I do a circle between myself and that person, and then there's a true oneness. When they sit down in the chair and they give me permission to look at their chart, they are giving me permission to look at their soul. As long as I have permission, I can go for it. And wonderful things happen. I'll tell you a story. You ready for this one?
Sure.
My girlfriend moved from Austin, Texas to Park City, Utah. And she had a cat. And she brought the cat. And she called me up in the middle of the day and was sobbing and crying. The cat had gotten out and she didn't know where the cat is. So I said, go and get in the car. Susan, go get in the car. She went and got in the car. I said, now back out of the driveway and go to the right. Go down to the street, go 2 blocks and turn left. You there? Good. It's a cul-de-sac. You're going to go up to the top of the street and you're going to see it's a cul-de-sac. I want you to go around to the end of the cul-de-sac and the third house that's gray that has a hole in the lattice in the porch. Stop the car, get out of the car, go to that lattice and call your cat. And she did, and the cat came out.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
That's just one example.
Wow.
Because she was worried about the cat. The cat was attached to her, ran the energy through, knew the cat was stuck, and she went and got the cat. Isn't that amazing?
So did this information show up as a visual for you, or was it just...
It was more of a GPS. I don't know. It was not really visual. I have all three. I have clairaudience, clairsentience, and clairvoyance. So I feel, and I see, and I touch, and I hear. So I was having directions given to me, you know, like Giselda on GPS.
Yeah.
And it was really neat. I had another experience with a girl when I was going to be at her wedding in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and her sisters came up to be in the wedding, and her one sister, Heidi, was going to be maid of honor. And we all went out for the pre-wedding dinner the night before. And I turned to Heidi and I said, you know, your husband has a physical problem, and you really, I'm getting this message, and I wouldn't be getting it if it wasn't urgent. You really have to have him go to the doctor. There's something wrong with the heart. And he could be developing something that would be operable, need to be operated on. Well, it all happened, and they say I saved his life. But you never know.
Oh, no, we do know.
Yeah.
But these are the beautiful things that
Yeah.
you use your energy for when you are centered and you can stay clear. And there's times when I'm not clear, and there's times that I'm sure I screw up. And there's times that I say things to people that they don't want to hear. Like the lady that came to me and wanted the man she was dating to divorce his wife and marry her. And I told her it wasn't going to happen. And I told her that he cared about her, but that he had a commitment both to the wife and to the children. And that it was really not good for her to want to split that up. And that it wasn't going to happen. And I told her why. I gave her a lot of, you know, the spiritual laws that we talk about that nobody really wants to listen to.
Right.
And when she got up to go home, she looked at me and she says, Elizabeth, I don't know whether I love you or I hate you, but I will be able to come back here because I cannot do what you're asking. And I said, bless you. Just bless you. That's your truth. Bless you.
Yeah. It's all about choices.
Yep. It is all about choices. And, you know, there's one thing right after the other. Sometimes you feel it on the road when you're driving the car, and then you're led to turn left instead of right, and you wind up in the right place anyway. We've all had that. And we've all had the phone ring, and we know who's on the other end. And sometimes we'll have a premonition to go to a store for something that we're searching for, and we'll walk in, and there it is.
Right.
All of these things are our psychic sensitivity working for us, and it just needs to be recognized.
Yeah. And they build up and reinforce each other, and your level of knowing grows. Your base level of consciousness grows with it.
And the more you use it, the stronger it grows.
Absolutely.
When I was about 8 years old, my mother took me to a store in Paterson, New Jersey. There used to be something called Quackenbush's. I always loved the name. And we went to the store, and she was one floor down, and I was learning how to use an elevator. I was 8 years old. So she said, you go ahead upstairs to where you want to go and come back down and meet me right here. So I went upstairs, and I was, you know, looking for whatever I wanted. And I was headed towards the elevator, and I saw a red sweater on one of the stands, and I turned back, and I wanted to see that red sweater. Well, that elevator got stuck between floors for 5 hours, and I wasn't on it.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've always said that we're going to eventually have a machine, as people go to the airport and get on the plane, that's going to read their aura, and that will tell them whether or not the plane is safe.
Oh, there you go. You know, that would be, let's just put it right now. We can do it right now. Let's put some of the amazing people who have woken up and have gained vision in the airports as security guards.
You know, and I think we need them in medical. I think every medical doctor should have an alternative medical intuitive. Because how many pills can you take before you get the right one?
Right.
All you have to do is muscle tests.
Right, exactly.
It's crazy. And some people are allergic. My twin, as I mentioned before, she was in Johns Hopkins, and she had surgery, and the doctor came in, and he said, this medicine isn't doing anything. I said, no, it's passing right through her body. My twin has decided that she wants to leave the planet. Therefore, nothing you do from now on will be helpful to her, because she's made the decision to leave. And he looked at me like I had slapped him. But it was true.
Yeah.
Right.
And we don't know why things happen the way they do. But our subconscious, I wish that we could get in touch with our subconscious more. Because we don't know what our subconscious holds. And that's why that ninth chakra is going to be important. Remember, I told you it was going to open up the Akashic records?
Right.
And there's things that trigger us that we don't know why they trigger us. And then we create judgment.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see all of that improved as well.
So, Elizabeth, this on a personal note here, would you mind doing or answering one question that has been burning inside me for a long time? Well,
I'll try.
Issue and this has been for the last year. I've been when I get into my meditations and I connect in and I'm with my guides and there's actually angelic hosts. I feel there's angelic hosts there too. I know they're there, but I have sensed them almost as strongly as the guides that I'm.
Well, I think what you're sensing is your new aura and the guardian angels in the 8.5 chakra. Really, Tom, I think that's what you're sensing.
Right. Okay. Probably. But there's a communication that keeps trying to come through, and I just cannot get it. And I'm just curious if you could tap into me for a moment and see if my guides can have the ability to communicate through you and tell me what the hell it is I've been trying to hear.
I don't know if I can tell you what they're trying to say, but I will tell you this. They want you to sit more. They want you to listen to some more of that music that Richard Schulman does. And they want you to stop being afraid and closing down. Now, that's subconscious. Maybe you're not aware of it. But you sit there and you try to get whatever this message is, and then you get impatient and you get up. And they want you not to do that. They want you to break through for whatever your vision is that's coming. And they're trying to educate you and bring you up to higher levels. So it's challenging.
Yeah.
But maybe if you listen to the MP3 file on opening up your chakras, you'll understand a little bit more, and that would be your breakthrough.
You're spot on, by the way, because my impatience has definitely taken its toll, and I've seen that here even just this week.
It's because I can't get my own way. I want it now. I have to have it now. I want my own way, and you can't. And there's a reason. There's a reason you're being taught patience.
Right.
They're not deliberately withholding it from you. No, no, no. They're not trying to teach you a lesson and give you a spanking. No, no, no. They're telling you that there is a part of you, a part of your channel, a part of your connection that isn't ready to open yet. And the only way that it will be is at a little at a time, like chip, chip, chip away at the stone, chip, chip, chip.
Right. Exactly.
And just ask, please open me up as far as I can humanly possibly go. Make that your sentence. Please open me as far as I can humanly possibly go. That will change things for you. And then you have to rest. How much quiet time do you have, Tom?
Yeah.
Oops.
Thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Wow. Spot on. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, what is coming for you is just phenomenal. It's very challenging, but it's phenomenal. You've been wanting to create a change. You've been wanting outer growth, like in your physical world. Maybe you want your radio station to be more. Maybe you want to go into television. I don't know what it is. But you've been wanting a change, and you're frustrated that it isn't here. And you will be led to the people that will help you open to your desires this next year.
All right.
So your new mantra is, I desire the manifestation of all of my desires. Now, when you say something like that, you're not wishing, you're not wanting a car and an airplane and a yacht. That's not what you're wanting. You don't want to be Donald Trump. One is enough. What you're wishing for is that your heart's desire, your soul's desire. I desire to realize all of my desires. And let them come in one at a time, like the lotus blossom opening. Let them come in. And you'll be surprised at who you will meet and who will adjust your path onto the path of where you want to walk. It always comes through divine beings, and it comes through our friends, our family, and our acquaintances. Always. They're our angels.
Wow. Wow. Thank you.
When is your birthday again?
November 2nd of 61.
November 2nd. So you just had one. 61, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. All Souls Day.
Oh, no, All Saints Day.
All Saints Day is the
first.
first. All Souls
Right.
Day is the second, yeah. Day of
So you're coming into a 4-year, and that's a move. That's usually a move. So something's moving, either your station or your home, or both. Sometimes it can be a job, but it's laying down the 4 corners of security. You're in a 4-year. So you might find a new project that will manifest for you, and you will have to consider where you are, what you're traveling through, and what you want to do. And you're a Scorpio. You can get anything you want. Just make sure that you do it through the right way and you don't step on people and brush them aside. You know what I'm saying.
Exactly, yes.
You got to be the eagle, not the snake.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I embody, I feel like I reflect the eagle more so than the phoenix, as far as the.
It's not a phoenix, it's a snake.
Yeah.
Scorpio is either the eagle or the snake. It's Mars or Pluto, or a bit of both. And remember, Pluto holds your karma. Pluto is the dark planet, but Pluto also makes you pay for that which you need to pay. You have to meet your karmic debts.
Right. Absolutely.
And
oh, I know that one.
Yeah.
I have instant karma that happens. So
Sometimes.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Sometimes and sometimes not. But that's good.
So
That'll slow you down.
Here's a question for you, and this is something that I actually feel like I've seen quite a few times in my life, where I'm growing leaps and bounds, places where I've just hit new plateaus and gone, wow, this is a huge new vista. Different things open up for me, different abilities come online, and I've noted that in some of my relationships, that I've gotten to a place where some of these negative energies out there no longer are affecting me. They're just no longer part of my path.
Okay.
And it seems like it's that there are some conscious ones out there that go, uh-oh, he's getting out of the path. Let's do whatever the hell we can to knock him back down a couple of rungs. And if we can't get at him, let's go after the people around him.
Chapter 6. Seeding and Nurturing the Garden of Your Soul. Chapter 6. The 3 great tests. And you will always have these great tests on a higher level all throughout your life. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this in people that it's like phenomenal supernatural events will happen to drive them, either out of your life or really screw them up or do something, something that really pulls on your own personal heartstrings, especially your heartstrings.
Well, if they're pulling on your heartstrings, then you have to understand that they're asking to be set free from your energy, and you have to bless them and let them go.
Oh, right. Absolutely.
And there are 3 great tests, and I was trying to see if I could get it because it was a lot. The tests are opportunities for the souls to advance. They are not a stumbling block.
Right.
Every experience is like beautiful music, not a harsh command to resent. And you go through them over and over and over again. The tests of power, the tests of wealth, and the tests of relationships.
Yes. Yeah.
And so if you have one that's struggling, the new way to react is neutral with respect and love. I see that you're not comfortable with this situation, so maybe you need some time to yourself for a while. I don't know. If you gave me an example, I could probably give you something. What would be an example?
Oh, geez. I wasn't really fishing for myself there.
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing that is pressing right now.
Well, remember, the higher you go, the more the relationships are going to change. When I was writing Ascension, the higher I went, the more people left my life. And some of them leave my life too nicely.
Right.
And it was 3 years. It was very painful. I shed a lot of tears. I had losses. I had financial losses, business losses, people losses. And then I had 5 deaths in a row that were very, very hard. Very hard.
What about other people that are trying to influence you?
Well, other people can influence you unless you let them. And if you've got a divine connection, you know whether you're going to let them or not.
So it's all
God bless you in your truth.
It goes back to choice.
That's right. God bless you in your truth. I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with that. I see that's what you want, and that's not going to happen with me. I mean, you could have been dating somebody for 7 years, and now they want to get married, and you don't feel right about it.
Right.
Then you have to sit and meditate. Your responsibility is to sit and meditate why you don't feel right about it, and to ask yourself why you're hanging on to that relationship. Because it could be out of comfort or out of habit.
Right.
And those are the things nowadays that we have to let go of, Tom.
Right, right.
And we have to trust the universe and create the void so that something higher and better can come in. And it's the same with jobs. I had one girl call me today. She had moved here from Arizona and said, I've moved to the wrong place. I can't find a job. I said, you can't find a job because of your expectations and your subconscious, and you've moved to a wonderful area where there are fabulous people, but you haven't given it a chance because you're too angry that you're not getting your own way right now. And she listened to me. She said, you're right. I said, now, if you really want to create something beautiful and have a new beginning, you have to do it in steps and stages.
Yeah. So do you, excuse me. So do you think it's possible for somebody to steal our energy through our chakras?
Not through your chakras. They don't do it. They do it through your aura. Oh. Yes, I do. You know, I wrote the book Psychic Attack, Are You a Victim? This is my best seller. And people can not only survive on your energy and suck your energy dry, but they can send you energetically bad things, like I wish they'd drop dead, or I wish they'd fall down the stairs, or I wish they'd have a car accident. Years ago, when I was a young one, a very young one, I used to get mad at the fast drivers, the Toms, the ones that were off, and I would roll their car in front of me. I would roll their car. And my teacher said, you cannot do that. I said, why? That's what needs to happen. Well, it was only an imaginary thing, you know. I didn't think it would ever happen. And she said, no. She said, you have power. See them being pulled over and given a ticket. So I changed it from rolling their car to seeing them being pulled over and given a ticket. Yeah, and I started doing that, and let me tell you something. About the next 7 cars that I saw on the road that did that to me, and I pulled them over in my mind, I would pass them about 2 miles down the road, they'd be pulled over and be given a ticket. And I loved it. I loved it. I just thought that was great. So yes, we certainly can affect other people through our mind, and we also can be clear and have that energy bounce off of us.
Yeah. So how do we have that energy bounce off of us if somebody is projecting
you have to have your aura strengthened. You have to work your aura, wrap yourself in white light every morning when you get up, and strengthen your aura, because some people have holes in their aura and they use their energy haphazardly and they're not realizing that they're doing it, and therefore they can be preyed upon and they can be tricked. They can be told that their son is sick and I made your son sick and I won't make your son well until you give me $100,000. This is what happened in one of my court cases. And the woman gave the $100,000.
Wow.
The boy got sicker. So she had to give more money.
Wow.
And it was crazy. Luckily, we caught up with them when they got the money back. But there are things to do. Meditation, sage, sandalwood helps you stay clear. You know, when people want to move and they can't sell their house, there are things you can do besides bury St. Joseph in the front yard. You can clear the house and make sure that you're ready to let it go. There was a couple in my state, in Pennsylvania, that could not sell their house for anything. And the man had been born there, and it was the 3rd generation, And he didn't know what to do. So this is what we did. We got the family, the son, the wife, the mother that was still with him, and the man. And we each lit a white candle and stood at the front door. And he said, Dad, we have to let go of the house. It's time for us to move to smaller quarters. I know you love the property, and so have I, but we have used it, and we will welcome the new people that are going to come here, care for it, and enjoy it. And as they were saying that, I got a picture in my mind of who was moving in.
Oh, no.
And they sold that house in 3 months. I said a woman was moving in with 5 kids, and that she was going to wind up working for them at their hotel after the move, and it all happened.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So you have to sometimes go through a little ritual of release before you can actually have the manifestation.
Yeah.
Because we have these subconscious attachments, and none of us can know what they are. When I have a subconscious attachment that I find out about, I get really pissed off.
Yeah.
Because I said, I didn't know I had that. I don't want that. Get rid of it, But you do have it, and we have to know that we haven't matured fast enough yet along our path to let go of everything. Otherwise, we might be floating down the river, right?
Right. Yeah, we'd be floating somewhere.
I want to read this to you because so many people either feel they have a curse on them, or they call up a gypsy and they ask them to put a curse on somebody, which is so evil, so wrong.
Yeah.
But I want to read this. Question: why does God allow evil? Answer: God does not allow evil. Evil and negativity exists in the presence of any darkness that is without light. The most common theory is that this is a matter of free will. God does not want mankind to continually work towards perfection of the soul, thus free choice. God does want mankind to continually work towards the perfection of the soul, thus free choice must exist. We live in a dual existence with polarities and extremes. To overcome evil is to move closer to the light of God. And you do that with love and understanding, both of yourself and of the people around you. And it is constant vigilance, Tom.
Oh,
Constant.
I know.
Never stops.
Yeah. Well, talking about curses and people putting curses on other people, I'm kind of on the understanding is that, if you don't want that curse to be put on you, it's your choice to accept the curse or not. Do you kind of...
Yes, but how do you know that if you're in the middle of sleep one night and somebody's working on the other levels and they come through the ethers to you and they put a curse on you, and you're weak, maybe you're sick, or maybe you're very sad, or maybe your body has been breaking down and you're vulnerable to that energy.
Yeah.
It is choice, but sometimes we get too tired to fight. You ever have a bill that you were fighting not to pay, and you finally give in and you pay it?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do this anymore. Well, that's how it works. Or the kid that wants the quarter. I love that story. I want a quarter, Mom. Go away. You can't have a quarter. I want a quarter, Mom. Give me a quarter. Please go away. Mom, can I have a quarter? Oh, here's your quarter. Now get out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
So, I have a friend, and he says that there's something in his house, something that's attached.
An entity in his house.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
Well, at first he said it was in his house, and then later on he told me he thinks it's attached to his oldest daughter. And he said that it's been, following him around. They've lived in 3 or 4 different houses. It's been following them around for the last 17 years now.
Okay.
And there's always been weird things happening. And he's got a late teenage daughter, and then he's got 2 small kids, like 2 and 5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 small kids are both, talking to him about seeing, this. They call it
well, they could banish
man.
they could banish the entity, and I could tell them how. The first thing is to change the vibration of the house, and the way that I personally do that, you can either get Richard Schulman's Ascension Music, higher dimension. He's at richheartmusic.com.
richheartmusic.com.
Richheart, 2 H's, RICHHEART music.com. And you can play Higher Dimensions, or you can play something, a CC, whatever you like. Play that constantly, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then you light candles, and you start doing some mantras. I command that you leave all negative energies. If you're not of the light, I command that you leave now. I command that you leave now.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to get an old thing, but if the kids and the parents all do it together, it should work.
Yeah, well, he was telling me that him and his wife and his kids, they all went to the house and burned some sage and set their intentions to be clear and, for this thing to leave. And he was telling me that when he got out into his living room, he's got a big vaulted ceiling with a skylight on top. And he's burning the sage, and he's saying, all negativity needs to leave, however he was saying it. But he said that they all witnessed 2 shadows climbing up the wall and then going out the skylight.
Yeah, good. They had to leave. And you can see them when you light a candle. You see these black streams of energy that looks like a very thick rope. And that's an entity leaving. When you see that in the flame of the candle as you're walking around the house. Always walk around in a clockwise circle and start in the basement and work up. And that's how you clear a house. All houses should be cleared before you move into them.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So that you don't have anybody else's energy.
Living.
But it's all spelled out in my book, Psychic Attack, Are You a Victim? Very clearly.
Yeah.
I love sage.
Oh, I do too. Well, I like sandalwood. Sandalwood and roses.
Yeah. It's good. It's a powerful tool to have in your bag.
Well, there are such things as ghosts, and they can harm you.
Oh, yeah.
And other people's negative energy can be destructive, and their thoughts can harm you.
Exactly.
But you can take steps to protect yourself.
With more knowledge comes more responsibility.
Yep.
Yeah.
There are good strategies at hand, and you can begin to remove these energies. Right. And that is by working on yourself and getting yourself up into a vibration that they cannot enter. That's another thing about ascension, Tom. You can just be in the middle of the 4th dimension, which we're all familiar with, and they won't be able to touch you.
Right. Yeah, I haven't been molested by, those errant little bugs for quite a while.
Energetic beings. I used to have horrible nightmares, but I haven't had nightmares in years.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I had nightmares. But they're gone since I started studying. I really started studying when I went to Vermont, as I told you. But a little bit before that, when I had the car crash, I had the out-of-body experience. And a year before that, my husband and stepson had both died. And they both came to me during this experience and sent me back. And they said, you have to write. You can't come. You have to write. Which I thought was interesting. And so I came back into the body. But I was changed all inside. I was totally changed. And it was like a new beginning.
Yeah.
A rebirth.
Amazing.
And that's when I started to study.
Yeah.
I really learned a lot about entities when I was working with Louise Hay, who would teach us how to stay strong and how to think positive thoughts and not get, pulled under by guilt or all those types of things, and to recognize when it was happening. She had ways of explaining how to recognize a person that's trying to take your energy. But this was with the AIDS breakout in the early 80s. Remember that?
Right. Yeah.
And we would do the hay rides in West Hollywood and New York City down the village. And we would set up body tables in the back, and we would just put the people on the body tables and get the energy, work with their energy and chakras and balance everything. And you could see things flying left and right. And they would just go out real fast, almost like a bat. They reminded me of dark bats just leaving the body, and then the person would feel terrific.
Yeah.
So there is something to this force.
Oh, no doubt.
And hopefully we're going to grow more towards understanding it.
Yeah. Well, with the advent of the internet, it has opened up so many doors for so many people. I mean, look at what we're doing right now. You're in New York, right? And
Yes.
Pennsylvania, and we're on the other side of the country in Washington. And it's like we're talking in the same room.
And it's wonderful, and I love it, and there's so much knowledge on the internet. I think you can find out anything on the internet. The dark side of it is the cyber crimes.
Right.
And that's going to be our next nemesis. In fact, in the month of June of this year, I had money taken out of both banks, totally wiped out.
Yeah.
And what had happened was 45 people in my town had this happen. We went to the ATM machine on the weekend, and the people were sitting across the street with their computer, but they had put a device on the ATM machine, and they were taking our cards and our numbers. And they took all the money out. Luckily, they got caught. But that's the new thing, and they're going to do it with your medical records, with stealing your identity, and taking your funds. They're learning how to do it. Look at what happened with Target.
Oh, yeah, right.
So I wish we could stop that part of it.
Stuff like that's happened here.
You know, there used to be a rumor when I was a little girl that we were all going to get chipped and that everybody was going to be regulated like a computer, but we don't have to because everybody has an iPhone.
Right, yeah.
And let me tell you, that's how they got around it.
Yeah.
Everybody has an iPhone, and they know everything that you do.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Almost.
They have that new show with Patricia Arquette that I really love. It's CSI Cyber.
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever go to the iPhone. I do have a cellular phone. I've got an old flip phone, and that's all I need. I make phone calls with it.
Well, you know, eventually that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Eventually, we went from analog to digital. Analog didn't work. We don't have VCR machines anymore, and I remember when they came out in the early 80s.
Right.
So we'll all graduate to it once, you know, in one way or another. They'll make us do it.
Right.
I know.
Well,
but anyway,
that is unless we beat them to it, and we the level of consciousness on this planet raised high enough where that's you know the control thing slides off to the side.
There are many people that do not have cell phones. As a matter of fact, I have a girlfriend who I love dearly that lives in New York State, between Albany and Binghamton. There's no computers up there. They don't have anything. They don't have cell phones. They have phone booths. They have the old gas stations with the round gas. Nothing's with a computer. Everything is pumped. It's so funny. You feel like you're back in the 50s.
Wow.
To go there and visit. But these people are happy.
Oh, I bet.
And it's amazing. It's amazing to see, like you're going back in time.
Huh.
But
yeah.
as long as they don't mess with my food, I'm all right.
Oh, geez, don't get me going on that.
Oh, well, I know. Monsanto was so bad.
Why?
I can remember going to Disney World when it opened in the early 70s with my children. And we went to Epcot, and they showed the garden where we're learning how to grow foods next to Harmonious Foods. And then they were talking about changing seeds. And that's when I learned that our seeds were not going to be the same.
Right.
That we were going to have hybrid seeds. And I thought that was horrible. I say, why change something that's perfect?
Right.
And they were teaching that in the 70s at Disney World.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. At Epcot Center.
Yeah.
They were just starting. Now it's a multi-million-dollar business.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't grow, don't eat it, and don't ever eat anything with the word Monsanto on it.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's really very frightening. I don't know why they claim that they'll be able to feed more people with this stuff. It's like eating cardboard.
Well, the actual data says just the opposite.
Oh, I know.
That it doesn't.
I understand that. But when you talk to people in the company, they claim differently.
And well, yeah.
Boy, that's an illusion, Tom. You talk about hypnosis, mass hypnosis, and an illusion. Huh. They have that commercial that's so cute that says, "Oh, I believe it because it's on the internet." And we talked about how wonderful the internet is. I don't know what I would do without it. It's virtual money. But I will say this to you. There's the other side. People need to be made aware of the other side.
Right.
And the dangers, too. Well, that's with anything. You can walk down a dark street in New York City and have had a wonderful show and get mugged on the way to the car. So it's with anything. If you're conscious, if you're aware, these things usually won't enter your life. And if they do, you will be forewarned. I'm always forewarned before a crisis comes to me. Always.
And the remedy will always be at hand.
Right. Or you can prepare, or you can just, if it's on a trip, you don't go on the trip. Or if it's on the road, you turn right and take a detour.
Right.
And then you'll learn later that you saved yourself harm. But you have to trust. Remember I said we have that solar plexus now. And the solar plexus has become very, very, very sensitive. So that if you do get a warning, don't ignore it. Don't say, but I know it's this way. Just go with it and see what happens.
Yeah.
The worst that's going to happen is you're going to have to turn around.
Right, right.
But that won't happen. So do either one of you have a story about how you were saved by the light in some form?
Oh.
I don't know if it's an actual saved by the light story, but you know, I grew up pretty connected, I guess, and I guess I didn't really realize how connected I was until, you know, here recently when I started learning about you know, this spiritual path. And so I'd have, you know, odd things happen here and there throughout my whole life, you know, and, you know, hear things, see things, just odd experiences that I just thought were common and normal. And for me, my big wake up experience was about 6 years ago. I was working at a juvenile prison, and I was volunteered to be part of the Native group. And the Native group at this juvenile prison, they did sweat lodges every couple weeks.
Oh, neat.
And I had never heard of a sweat lodge. I was completely cut off to, you know, this kind of ways of thinking, I guess. And I was just guided into it. And my first sweat lodge experience, it was really odd. You know when you're watching TV and there's nothing on TV but that black and white static.
Yes, yes.
Well, it was almost instant. As soon as the door closed and, you know, it's pitch black in there and the water starts pouring. That's what I see all around me is that static, but it's all in different colors.
Yep.
And
well, that's auras.
Interesting, because we do sweat lodges now here on you know, every 3 or 4 weeks we do a sweat lodge.
That's neat.
And I still see them. You know, I don't see them as often or as much as I did that very first time, but since that first time I did it. You know, this whole path was just kind of laid out in front of me. And Tom is my uncle, you know, and we didn't really talk too much, you know, just, you know, family get-togethers and that kind of stuff. So I didn't really know where he was at. And it just so happened...
I was crazy Uncle Tom to my daughter.
Yeah.
Or crazy dad.
Yeah. So, you know, just kind of all fell into place. I did this sweat lodge kind of late in the year, and then Tom came over for Christmas, and he just started doing this radio show, and so you know, I had a perfect mentor, you know, right here locally that, you know, who's my uncle that I feel comfortable with, and we just started meeting up. What was it, every Thursday night for a couple of years? We were meeting up every Thursday night, and, you know, just talking, you know. And
that's great. You
know, I mean, up until this point, I had no idea. I never heard of a chakra. You know.
So he became your teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
You know,
and the sweat lodge opened you up because what it did was it probably eradicated all the energy that says, I don't want to learn about that. All of your defiant energy was taken away and you went into bliss, into a new world, and then you want to know everything. My son had trouble with drugs and alcohol as he was growing up, and I took him out to Arizona and we did a sweat lodge in Sedona, and it changed his life. Changed his life.
Yeah,
he got educated. Now he's in China teaching English to the Chinese. And
wow.
No, it's great. It just changed his life. He was a late bloomer, but that's okay.
Yeah, you know, as long as
some people suffer with alcoholism and drugs their entire lifetime, and drugs has become insidious in this world. Just crazy. And so let's bless the fact that we're all going to be drug-free one of these days. We're not going to need it. We're going to be too interested going to the second star to the right and straight on till morning.
There we go. Neverland.
Every time somebody asks me where I'm going, that's what I say. I'm going to the second. And you know what? They believe me, Tom. They believe me, which is pretty funny.
So the second star to the right, and next week, next month, the rest of this year, what has Elizabeth Joyce got on her calendar? Anything coming?
Well, I'm working with getting this book out, and I hope to be doing some traveling. I do hope to go out to California and sit with Deepak and go over some of this with him as well. You know, he's a personal friend and has been for years. And then after the first of the year, I'm going to go back to teaching my classes and do another psychic fair for charity. I do love to work for charities when I can. And same old, same old. I'd like to write, I'm in the middle of writing my first novel, and it's exciting because it's going to tell people about people's experiences. I have metaphysical experiences happening to the people in the novel, so they'll introduce people that read novels to something like this. Mm-hmm. And they might like it.
Nice.
And I think that's going to be, and the name of the book is Just Beyond My Reach. Because love is just beyond our reach. We can't hold it. We can't touch it. It's invisible. But we do it, don't we?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I just absolutely love the stories that come through people who are connected. You know, the novels. The story, the faction.
There's a neat one in Psychic Attack, so make sure you get the book and read it. It's the one about evil. I think it's called Entity Hosting. No, Black Magic. The chapter on Black Magic is an absolutely true story, and you'll like it.
Cool. Well, Elizabeth, it has been an absolute joy to have you on the show.
Yes. So much information, you know.
And thank you so much for tapping into me. That helped me. I'm very grateful.
Good. And any time, Tom, just send me something on Skype, a note on Skype, or my email. And people could know my email is Elizabeth_Joyce@Verizon.net. It's real easy.
And your website
is www.new-visions.com, and it's called Visions of Reality, which I've had since 1982.
If you guys go over to her website, she's just got a ton of resources there. That'll, I mean, wow.
Yes, this website has been up since 1994. Are you proud of what?
Wow.
And there's lots of wonderful things on here. How to meditate, your numerology concepts, out-of-body experiences, past life, spiritual poetry. I love my spiritual poetry. Then I have the prayer room if you want to go and have a prayer. And we do pray every Sunday night at 7:30 around the world. So, and then there's the books, and there's a book list, books that I recommend, and all kinds of great stuff.
On your spiritual poetry section, I haven't got there yet. Is this all your stuff, or?
Yes.
Okay.
What I've written.
I was going to say, well, geez, maybe this is someplace I can put some of my poems.
Well, you could if you wanted to. Just send it to me.
Oh, okay. I've got a short one. I just have to recite right now.
Okay.
Inside each one there lies a force, a creative genius which guides our course. With study, desire, and persistent heart, he takes his place and plays a part. Whether high or low, who can know? His place in life he will show. Through miles of travel on different roads, little by little the picture unfolds. The key was hidden within a dream to shape and mold the waking dream. I messed that up, didn't I? Oh, well. Anyways, that was close. I think I messed up the last two lines. I forgot them.
I have one. I have one that came to me from Deepak when he wrote Ageless Mind, Timeless Body. Then I had one that I wrote when my husband passed away. But my favorite one is one I'm trying to remember it now.
Well, that one came to me while I was in jail, as a matter of fact.
Goodness gracious.
The
You were
first year
visiting.
of my wake-up process.
Oh, Sweet Fidelity. That's my favorite one. But anyway, I do have some spiritual poetry, and would love to put yours up. If you had one that you'd love to submit, we can do that. Then we can link to each other. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would.
It's all oneness.
Yes, absolutely. Wow.
Okay.
Okay, Elizabeth, thank you so much again, and we will definitely. Well, I'm actually going to reap the benefits of your advice tonight. I want to
download the chakras for your body, and you'll be fine.
There you go.
It's true.
I want to thank all of you guys out there listening, and tap into Elizabeth's work, and you will not be sorry. We will see you guys next week. Marie Ange, I can't even pronounce it. Trugarella.
Starts with an F.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about angels next week, so tune in for that. Condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance.
Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change.
Namaste, my friend.
Solve the problems that divide the world of black and white. To end the racism, you know we've got to fight. So we must stand for love. You've got to take a stand. You've got to take a stand for love. A stand for love. For love. You've got to take a stand. You've got to take a stand for love. A stand for love. For love. The condition of the world today. Plain to see there's got to be a better way. So